Hello, everybody. It looks like we are live. I am so excited to be here with you. And I'm so excited that this is working. For those of you who know me, I have, let's just say, I shouldn't say aversion. Technology is definitely a learning opportunity for me, a growth opportunity. So I'm really excited. This is my first webinar ever. I figured it all out with support of some amazing, wonderful people. So let's set the intention that everything works beautifully and smoothly, and you get everything that you want out of the next time, the next period of time that we have together. So welcome to Vision 2016, our little vision party. And really what we want to talk about is moving beyond New Year's resolutions, how to create your best year ever. This is a picture of me for those of you whom I have yet to have the privilege of meeting. And I'm just really happy you're here tonight. You've answered an invitation that we issued to say, let's spend some time talking about you, your life, your dreams, and how to live a life that's more reflective of the dreams of your heart. We're going to be here for about 2 hours, and we're going to start to take some big steps to moving towards creating an exceptional life in 2016. I invite you to grab a notepad and pen. You'll want to take notes. Grab a cup of coffee or tea, whatever makes you comfortable, and get comfortable. This is the time for you. This is a gift to yourself, and this is interactive. You will begin to design the dream as a group together with us that you love living, and start to take some steps forward in that direction. For those of you who don't know me, just a little bit about me, I am a life mastery strategist. I'm an educational consultant, speaker, coach, and healer. And I've been coaching individuals and leading workshops on personal and organizational development for over 25 years. And my mission in life is to empower individuals to lead more fulfilling and productive lives. I've been a student of this material for over 25 years, and I'm still a student. I've had the privilege of working with thousands of people over the years in helping them identify, clarify, and then live a life that they love living. And I can make one claim: if you're on this call, you've been on a personal journey for a while. You've read all the books, you've been to all the workshops, you've heard all of this before. None of this stuff I'm going to share today will be new. But you may hear some things that will trigger something within you to inspire you to finally make the change, to finally step into living a greater version of yourself, where you can fully live the life you know you should be living. The truth is, this is a capability, a capacity. This is an opportunity for every single one of us. Most of us don't have access to the understanding that opens doors for us, but tonight we're going to open some doors. And before we end tonight, I'm going to invite you to spend the next 180 days with me, walking through those doors and having a deeper experience. I welcome you. I am honored that you are here with me. I realize time is the most precious resource we have, so I really honor and appreciate your trust in me and your time here, and I hope that we can all deliver together and really catapult your life forward. So the next 2 hours, it seems like a long time, and I promise you it will fly by quicker than you know. This is for you if you're a person who has a big dream. You know you are meant to be living a much greater life. You've had a big dream, and maybe you've struggled to make it come true, and it feels like it's never going to happen. You're a person who's been very successful in one area of your life, like money has been easy, but the relationship piece just hasn't been. Or maybe relationships are easy for you, but you feel stuck around circumstances in your career or business, or any other configuration where you feel like maybe one part of your life is ahead of another part, and you'd like all of your life to catch up. These are all the things that are exactly what you came to this call for tonight. This is what we do. This is what we are here for. So what you will learn, I'm so excited to be sharing some wonderful information with you. What you will learn today is a powerful and simple process that will help you create a vision for your very best 2016 year. And I really mean that when I say it is absolutely possible to have the best year of your life. I'm going to give you 5 questions that will help you design your life for an amazing 2016. And we'll cover the 3 most, while invisible to your 5 senses, significant universal laws for manifesting your dreams in 2016. There are at least 12 with many sub-laws, and you may have heard of some of these laws, you may know them, but I don't believe we really take advantage of the power of these laws to shape our destiny. When we begin to understand that there are invisible laws that govern the visibility of all things we see, we begin to really unlock our understanding of how these laws work. When you really get that, you become unstoppable. We can only get to 3 of them today, but when you really truly embrace all 12, life just becomes so fabulous, amazing. Again, you become unstoppable. So I'm going to share them with you. The main reason New Year's resolutions fail. How many of you have goals that you have yet to achieve? I know all of us have. Around New Year's Eve, research shows that people will have set the same goals for the 10th time. Just think about that. If you look back throughout your life, how many times have you said you're going to get into shape? You're going to lose the weight? How many times have you said you're going to spend more time with your family or loved ones? How many times have we said we're going to go for the job of our dreams? And by the 7th of January, 50% of people have stopped doing what it takes to accomplish their goals. And by now, by around the 3rd week, studies show that 90% will have stopped making forward progress in their goals. So we want to break that cycle and really make this the best year ever for you. And the 3 things you can do to move from wishing for your dream to living your dream. And at the end of this, I have a very special invitation for those of you who are really ready to live your very best 2016 and step in 100% into the life that you know you should be living, that you know you are worthy of living. So I'm really excited that you are with me here on this webinar, because this tells me that you're not like everybody else, that you have something within you that says, this is it. This is your time. This is the time to live your best life. This is the time to make things happen. This is the time to get in physical shape or improve your relationships or make more money, to have more time and more freedom for your family, for the things you love to do in your life. So there was an old man walking through a botanical garden, and as he was walking, he gazes at a cactus plant and he notices that there's a little frog on the cactus. As he passes by, he hears, "Mister, mister, I'm a princess trapped in a frog's body. All you have to do is kiss me, and I will turn into my princess self, and I will give you any pleasure you desire." So the old man puts his hand out, and the frog jumps on his. He brings the frog right up to his mouth, and then he gently takes the frog and puts the frog in his pocket. And he hears this muffled, "Mister, mister, mister, mister," and he pulls the frog up. She says, "Don't you get it? I'm a princess trapped in this frog's body. All you have to do is kiss me. I will turn into my princess self, and I will give you any pleasure you desire." And he holds the frog back up close to his mouth, and then he says, "You know, frankly, at my age, I'd rather have a talking frog." And I love this story. Dr. Jean Houston, the famous anthropologist, shared it. And people would think that's something you should want, a princess who can give you any pleasure you desire, most guys at least. And just because life tosses you an idea, or just because somebody is living in a certain way, doesn't mean that it has to be important to you. You get to decide what matters to you. You get to decide the type of life you would love living. So you all have a dream that's trying to emerge, a dream that's bubbling up to the surface. And it's different than mine or your friends or anybody else's. You want your dream to be something that matters to you, a dream that's in harmony with your own soul's purpose. So it's really personal to you. I believe that whatever is in your heart's desire, that's what you're meant to be doing. That's where you're meant to be going. And I want to help you get in touch with that part of you today. So I would love to share a little bit about how I got here today. And this is my family. I'm the little one snuggling up to my mom with the red and blue top and the big frizzy hair, and I still have the big frizzy hair. I grew up believing that anything was possible because in my family, anything was possible. At a young age, my parents moved from Egypt to the United States in order to seek freedom from oppression and a life that they had dreamt possible. In no place but America can anyone who has a dream accomplish that dream, no matter their race, their socioeconomic status, their education, their religious affiliation. So my parents had big dreams. They wanted the big home with a pool. They wanted to give their children, that would be me and my brother, everything they never had. They wanted to send us to the best schools. They wanted to own a farm. My dad actually wanted to live off the land. They wanted to travel the world, see different cultures, vacation in style. They wanted the freedom to do what they wanted when they wanted. And I was blessed to have been raised with that same belief. I could have anything I wanted. My dad always told me, reach for the stars. The worst you can do is land on the moon. And I was taught that if I could dream it, I could achieve it. And I spent my entire life believing that anyone could achieve his or her dreams. So I dreamt. And I dreamt a lot. I was a big dreamer. I dreamt of traveling the world. I dreamt of going to Africa to help hurt and starving children. I was a little girl at 6 years old calling into, if you remember the Sally Jesse Raphael show, where they show children starving in Africa. It's like a half an hour, almost like an infomercial. I was calling in at 6 years old trying to give them the few dollars I had in my piggy bank. And I don't even remember what the reaction on the other end was, but I'm sure it was out of confusion. But I dreamt of bringing peace to the world. I wanted to save the world. I wanted to cure cancer. I dreamt of meeting the love of my life and living happily ever after. I dreamt of sending my own children to the best schools and giving them the best of everything. But I wasn't told how. At 21, I got married right out of college, and several years later, I had a beautiful baby whom I adore. Some of you know my son that I'm very proud of, Brandon. But shortly thereafter was the divorce. I struggled financially for years. I was homeless, barely able to put food on the table. I had gained over 85 pounds and I was unemployed. I had big dreams, yet my life was a picture of desperation. My life seemed to get worse no matter how optimistic I remained. The fact is that I always thought having a dream was enough. I believed there was no way I couldn't be happy. Whatever dream you had in your heart would always come true. That's what I was told. I had no doubt it would come true. But for the first time, I began to question that belief. My father slaved over his work. Day after day, he wore himself down, saving every penny, trying to invest in a secure and lucrative future. He was waiting for retirement when he can finally live the life he wanted to live. And I know so many of us experience parents who slave over the work, just waiting for that day that they can retire to finally enjoy life. That was my father. When I was 16, my father was diagnosed with cancer. He was given 2 years to live and died 6 short months later. He died while he was still working hard and saving every penny. And I was in high school when I heard the news. I was sitting in class in the middle row, the very last seat. I had a view of the back door of the classroom, and I sat in that back seat because Sister Jean would stand in the front of my row and never move, so I could fall asleep in English class. It was the best seat in the house. And she never saw me because she never moved. But for some reason, I was awake that day, and I saw one of the office aides walk past the back door, enter through the front, and hand Sister Jean a note. And I knew that note was for me. I was being summoned to the office. And that walk down the hallway and down the stairs was the longest walk of my life. Because the music in my life stopped that day. Everything went silent. 10 years later, my mom stopped breathing at a job that she hated, and she never recovered. Just a few short years before her retirement, when she thought she would be able to finally enjoy life. And by the time she had died, she had lost pretty much all of my family's hard-earned money because of poor decision making. Neither my mother nor my father lived to see all their work pay off, all their hard work pay off. And even though I had been broke and struggled, I still went through life knowing that one day my dream would come true. But it dawned on me one sleepless night as I reflected on my parents' big dreams and their early death, that it is actually possible to get to the end of your life without realizing your dream. My parents lived their entire life waiting for their dream life, yet it never came. They died with nothing. You can see the white thing in the middle of the bottom of the picture. Looks like I don't know what it looks like, but those are rabbit cages. That was the extent of the farm that my father had. That was our little pool in our tiny little house. And needless to say, this sudden realization put me in a deep state of depression and tore apart everything that I had ever believed in, everything I had ever hoped for. Fortunately, the part of me that grew up believing that dreams do come true pulled me out fairly quickly, and that's when I began my search. I began a search for meaning, for purpose, for the secret of how to live the life of your dreams that I was sure was waiting to be discovered. I knew there was something I was missing. I studied with a vengeance, realizing I didn't have time to waste. My parents' lives ended early, and I learned that life was precious. The time to live, the time to feel free, the time to be happy and make every step move in the direction of my dream was now. And I found it. I studied everything and everyone. I've had the most amazing teachers and mentors. I studied psychology, all the world religions, every modality and approach to personal development you can think of, and of course, my own life experiences. And I was able to put it all together into a system that has worked for me. I realized many, many dreams for myself. I lost over 85 pounds. Yes, for those of you keeping track, I do have 5 more pounds to go. Actually, probably about 10. Maybe I'm fibbing a little. I multiplied my income many times over and went from being on the verge of homelessness to living in a beautiful 5-bedroom home that I absolutely love. I'm actually sitting in my home office/library right now, surrounded by the books that I absolutely love. I found a career that I love, and every day I wake up with a smile on my face. Miracles are now my reality, and I truly live in awe of how amazing the universe works in wanting to support me and my happiness. And now I show people how to create the same results and feel that same level of joy. Because ultimate joy is really what it's about, right? I meet many, many successful people who feel trapped by their job or relationships and are not living a fulfilled life. So in the outside, they look like everything. People would think everything is working in their life, but they're not happy. So I truly mean living full of joy and ease and grace in every area of your life. And I've created a powerful 6-month program to launch the life of your dreams. And I'm committed to being with you through every step of the way. This is a true transformational process for lifelong success. So why create a vision? You don't have a choice about whether or not you're going to create a life. You are either going to create a life you love living, or you're going to be a bystander of your life. And so it's, what kind of life will you create? That's the real question. And it takes just as much energy to create an amazing, incredible life as it does to create a crummy life. It takes no more energy to live a life you love living than a life where there is repeated struggle and difficulty. Some people live 99 years, but most people live 1 year 99 times. It's the same stuff over and over again, and they don't really do anything to create a different life for themselves. So we want to break that pattern and become the creator of our life, and it's absolutely possible. Because at the end of the year, if you and I are privileged enough to keep breathing another 365 days, a little bit less than that, if we come to December 31st, 2016, we will have created a life that you can measure in every important way. We can measure it in our health, in our relationships, what we are doing with our time and talent, our vocation, our philanthropy, our time and our money, and our freedom. Robert Heinlein said, "In the absence of clearly defined goals, we become strangely loyal to performing daily trivia until we ultimately become enslaved by it." And I love this quote because it really defines the sad state most people are in, who are just going through the motions in life. How many of you know people who just go through the motions? They're waking up, going to work, they come home, make dinner, go to bed. The next day, it's the same thing over and over again. And in the absence of a vision, when you have no direction, imagine if you get in a car that has all the power in the world on roads going everywhere. But if you don't know where you want to end up, if you don't know how to harness the available resources you have and put it in service of something that matters to you, then you're not going to end up anywhere. So we do not get a choice. Why we create a vision is because we do not have a choice about whether or not we're going to create a life, but we do get a choice about what kind of life we're going to create. And most people don't really take advantage of that choice. They live a life by default rather than design. But today we are in the design phase. So congratulations, congratulate yourselves. Bob Proctor says most people tiptoe through life hoping they make it safely to their death. But that's not you. Not this year, not 2016. That's why you're investing the next few minutes of your time in pulling from the very depths of your being and the very reaches of your imagination a vision for 2016 that you would absolutely love your life to become. Clearly defining what it is that you would love sets you on a new course. When you get to what you really want, your life is going to change. Your life absolutely will change. 95% of success comes from clarity of what you want. 95% of failure comes from lack of clarity. So knowing and being focused on what you want is extremely important. So I invite you to do an exercise with me. And I want to really encourage you to participate fully. This is your life. And if you want to create an amazing life, don't be a bystander. There was a transformational expert in the relationship industry. And in particularly, he was helping people unlock their ability to have great relationships. And he was doing a seminar a number of years ago. He was offering a couples weekend training for about 50 couples. And each couple had to invest $5,000 to be with him for that weekend of training. So Friday night, he gave a great lecture with the fundamentals and dynamics of great coupling and great relationship. And as the evening was coming to a close, he gave everyone an assignment. Some of the couples were driving from home and they would return to their home for the evening. Some of the couples were traveling, were staying at the hotel. So he said, whether you're staying at the hotel or going back to your own home, what I'm asking you to do is, before you go to bed tonight, when you go into the bathroom, no matter which way the toilet paper is coming off the roll, switch it around. So if the toilet paper is coming off the roll off the top, switch it so it comes off the bottom. And if it's coming off the bottom, switch it so it comes off the top. That's your assignment for the night. So they left. The next day they came in, sat in their chairs, and he begins the seminar this way. So I'm just going to do a little pop quiz here. How many of you actually did go to the bathroom in the place where you stayed last night and switch the toilet paper? How many of you actually did that? And about 2/3 of the room raised their hand. The other 1/3 was, oops, I didn't do that. And they're both looking at each other. He said, my team is outside, and all of you who did not switch the toilet paper, go ahead and gather up your things now. Step outside now. My team is there, and they will be writing you a check for the complete refund of the $5,000 that you invested to come to this seminar. I want to invite you to come back sometime when you are interested in doing the things that will actually help your relationship get better. Because if you're not even willing to change the way the toilet paper comes off the roll, you absolutely are not willing to be you're not going to be willing to do the things that are required to have the relationship that you signed up for, which is a fabulous relationship. So we wish you well. Thanks for coming. And 2/3 of the people got to stay for the weekend, and 1/3 was exited. So I've learned, even in my coaching, my own coaching and teaching practice, I have an application process for everyone who wants to work with me, because I found that the people who are willing to take the action on these little things will be willing to take the action on the big things. And these are the people that will see the greatest change in their lives. These are the people that I want to work for. Work for, yeah, absolutely work for and work with. Because I want to see success. I'm not interested in taking anybody's money. I'm interested in seeing real results and helping people transform their lives. So I invite you to play along and participate 100%. So go ahead and stand up wherever you're at. And clear a little space around you. Stand up straight. Close your eyes and lift one foot off the ground. Just close your eyes and lift one foot off the ground. And notice how you're doing. Notice what's happening to your body. Okay, you can go ahead and put your foot down and open your eyes. Next, keep your eyes open. Go ahead and stay standing. Keep your eyes open and focus on something in front of you. Find an object or something to focus on with your eyes. And go ahead and lift up your foot again off the ground and try to balance yourself. Notice the difference. And you can go ahead and put your foot back on the ground and have a seat wherever and get back to being comfortable. When I do this in a room full of people, the first time when people have their eyes closed, everyone's falling over, everyone's wobbling around. I think they think I'm doing it for my own amusement. It is kind of funny to watch. And when they open their eyes and focus, there's a peace, a strength, a steadiness that you probably felt as well. Focus brings balance and direction. That's how powerful it is. 95% of success comes from clarity, from focus. Focus of what you want, clarity of what you want, and 95% of failure comes from lack of clarity. So knowing and being focused on what you want is extremely important. There is a power that comes from clarity and focus. Clearly defining what it is that you would love sets you on a new course. So there are two types of people, the reactor and the creator. And what do you think is the difference? What do you see for your life? Do you see the possibilities in your life and go after it? Or do you sit around waiting for something to come to you? Do you wait around for something to happen to you, and then you can blame everyone else for why your life isn't working? The reactor will wait for something to happen before they take action, And a creator is someone who sees the vision and goes out and creates it. They don't wait for something to happen. They go out and take action right away. They don't wait for permission. They don't wait for the economy to turn around or for their spouse to turn around or for their the money to come in. They create a vision and then figure out how to make things happen. So what do you see for your life? Do you see that you're in control? Do you see that you have the power? Do you see that you're in the driver's seat of your life, of everything that happens? Absolutely everything. About a month ago, I was stalled on the freeway, and it was a beautiful experience. Actually, I was in the middle lane. My car started to slow down. I tried to accelerate, but it wasn't going anywhere. So I did get myself safely off to the side, and I thought, this is interesting. And I was really able to just sit in the experience of it all. I never thought for a second, why is this happening to me? This is horrible. Because in the depths of my soul, I knew something was evolving. I was late for an important meeting. It turns out that it was better that I missed the meeting. I didn't have a spare car. I wasn't even sure how I was going to get my car fixed, but I was able to see beyond my current circumstances. So being a creator is shifting your perception of every experience going on around you, knowing that we're not the victim of circumstances. We are the creators of it. And I ended up getting a beautiful Lexus that I've been eyeing for a while. So it all worked out. And I actually never doubted that it would. We can create the results. The results are an effect. And actually, today I've been playing around with this technology, and my Mac, which is fairly new, started to crash, and it's never ever crashed before. And like I told you early on, technology is definitely an area of growth for me. And I knew it was just the energy. This was something new. There was a little bit of fear on my side. There was a little bit of attachment to it better work. It has to work. So when everything started to crash and things weren't working between the PowerPoint and the recorder and the webinar and the program, and even my emails weren't coming through, I just took a deep breath. I created a little amusement, had a little chuckle, and saw, wow, I'm really breaking through something big. This is a big step for me. This is a new opportunity for me. I've done teleclasses forever, but stepping into something, some new technology, the webinar that can reach all over the world, and I know there are people all over the world on this I want to say call, but webinar, is really a big step for me. And so I just took a deep breath and I said hello to growing and fully opening up to the possibilities that this technology will create for me and for my reach and for being able to help so many more people. So again, it's stepping into being the creator. I was never a victim. I was never a victim. And I can tell you 10, 20 years ago, if that were to happen, I know in college when my computer crashed, it was the end of the world. So it's what do you see? What do you see and what do you focus on? So one of the things you may have heard is you have infinite potential. And I know if you're on this call, you have heard that, and you know a lot about the power of the mind. But once you really understand it, and again, I think we've all heard it, that there are forces outside of your understanding that work. And we don't even fully grasp the power of this. The power of things that make things happen in our life, that supports whatever it is we're putting out. Our thoughts, putting out our actions, everything that we put out into the world, our beliefs, our attitudes, our identity, every aspect of our being. And it's beyond what we can see. There is such a level of knowledge and intelligence that we can tap into. And when we do, our world can literally transform. Brian Tracy says that every change in your life begins with one new idea. And we have to be open to new ideas. And the more ideas you collect, the greater the possibility of having the right idea at the right time in the right order. Because do you agree we can have the right ideas, but if it's the wrong timing, things don't work? Or it could be the right time, but if we don't do things in the right order, things don't work. So it's being able to gather those ideas and have things in full alignment So all of a sudden, your whole life starts to fall into a place in a beautiful way. So let's play again for a minute. Like to invite you to close your eyes just for a minute and imagine being in the kitchen of your home. You have a lemon, and I'd like you to take a sharp knife and cut that lemon in half, and then cut a wedge out of that lemon. And take that wedge and take it up to your mouth. You can smell it and suck that sour lemon, squeeze the sourness into your mouth. And go and open up your eyes. Did you notice more saliva in your mouth? But was there really a lemon? And I know we all, I'm even salivating right now just talking about it. We all have a physical response. That's the power of your mind. Anything that's real or imagined will elicit a response. Anything real or imagined will elicit a response. So when we get into utilizing our imagination, which is one faculty of the mind, there are 6 powerful faculties of the mind. When you tap into just this one faculty, the power of your imagination, you open up to many more possibilities in your life. And that's where we're going to tap into today. So let's begin. So before we look at our vision for 2016, we're going to ask ourselves a couple of questions. Who should you silence and who should you bring? What I invite you to do, at least during our time here together, is to silence your reactor. This is the part of you that is concerned with the how. This is the part of you that is concerned with how can I make this happen? How can I find the money for this? How can I find a new job or a new relationship? How am I going to get through this situation or take care of my health issue? When you first set a goal, the first minute you decide you want something, the immediate response of your brain is to access your memory. When you say, I want to double my income, your brain searches its memory bank and asks, have I been able to do that before? It searches for times when you've been able to earn money, and the immediate response may be no. I've never done that before. My parents have never done that before. It's searching for something it can use to answer that question of how can I do this? And it will actually remind you of all the times that you tried and you couldn't, and how hard it was, and how disappointed you felt when you failed. So that creates limitations. That creates limitations because your memory is full of the stuff you've already done. And whatever you've already done, whatever you know, has brought you right to where you are now. Your current history, your current memory, your current information, your current knowledge and experiences, all of that have created the life you have now. So if you want something different, you have to be open to new possibilities, to new thinking. So we want to suspend that reactor. And the how, will you all agree the how is available anywhere? I mean, I just learned how to do Facebook about a year and a half ago. That's how technologically advanced I am. But I YouTubed how to take the hard drive off my laptop. I was able to follow the directions and do something very complicated. Even with this webinar, there's so much of HTML codes, and I can't even repeat the language that was being used, but I was able to follow the directions and create this perfect webinar that's going to go completely smoothly from beginning to end. So can you look up anything and figure out how to do anything? Absolutely. You want to make $1 million in real estate? You can look that up and figure it out. Absolutely. We all know how to lose weight. We all know how to work hard. The how is not the problem. So let's just suspend that for now. If you want to bring her back, you can bring her back, but for now, let's just suspend her. So who do we want to bring? We want to bring your creator, and this is the part of you that is excited about the possibilities. It's the possibility thinking part of you, the child. This is the 4-year-old that is full of imagination and excitement about life. When you go into a preschool classroom and you ask a bunch of 4-year-olds, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's just so fun. They will rattle off, I want to be president of the United States and an astronaut and a ballet dancer. And everyone will, what does everyone say? Oh, that's so cute. That's so wonderful. Yes, you can. I can't wait for you to be a dancer and president and fly to the moon, or I guess now it's fly to Mars, right? But what happens by the age of 7? You ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the same children will say, I want to be a ballet dancer, an astronaut, and a president. And what do people start telling you? Well, that's not really possible. You have to choose one. You're going to have to work really hard. It takes all the fun out of it, right? You're going to have to, and they list all the obstacles. And they're usually told by people who are not doing it, right? Everyone's got great advice when they're not even following their own dreams. I have a good friend, Rachel, and her high school counselor called her into the office and asked her what she wanted to be when she graduated. And she told him she wanted to be a marriage and family therapist. She loved the idea of helping people. And her counselor told her, no, you don't want to be a marriage and family therapist. You're going to work really hard. It's going to take a long time, a lot of years of education. You're not going to make any money, and you're going to be dealing with problems all day. So the good little girl she was, she listened, and she got her business degree. And now, at 40 years old, she decided she was finally going to not let these limiting beliefs affect her anymore. And she's going to go for her dream, and she is well on her way to signing up for a program so that she can live the life she loves, helping people as a marriage and family therapist. So tuning into your purpose, how do we do that? So the first thing is I want you to think about your longing. What is it that you long for? What would make you feel so full? What would you love in your life? That's the question I'm always asking. What would you love? What would I love every minute? We're going out to dinner and we're not sure where to go. Well, we stop and ask, well, what would I love? I would like a nice sea bass with vegetables. Okay, great. The decision's made. We know where they serve that. So I would love to have a fun evening with my sweetheart. Great. You start to create the conditions for it to occur. My son and I just had a conversation a couple of days ago about colleges. And he said, Mom, I don't know what to do. I can go to this college, but I'd have to live on campus, and and it would be expensive. And I can go to this other college and commute, but it's not really what I want. And it's just all these. And I said, whoa, Brandon, stop. What would you love? And it was such a quick answer for him because it's never about the money. It's never about your current circumstances or conditions. It begins with what you would love. He told me and I said, great, let's figure it out. Now the universe has an opportunity to make things happen, to put things in order, to put that in on his path because he knows where he's going. Most people don't allow themselves to see beyond their current circumstances. When they ask what they want, they look at their diagnosis. They look to the doctor. What does the doctor say I can have? How long does the doctor say I can live? Or how does the doctor say I can live? They look at their family history. They look at the state of the economy. I can't make money in real estate because the market is down. Or the amount of money in their bank account. They live the money may I game, where before they decide to do something that they would love, they look at their bank account and look for permission from their bank account and ask, can I afford this? Or they look for their degree. Can I do this with the degree I have? Or permission from others. They look to other things or people outside of them to determine what they can have, be, or do. And that's where it starts. What would make you feel alive? And again, suspending your rational mind. Suspending what your rational mind would say is possible. Allow yourself to dream big, because whatever will make you feel alive is what you're supposed to be doing. It's what you're supposed to have. It's what you're supposed to be. It's what you're supposed to step into. This is your purpose. People always come to me and ask, well, I need your help finding my life purpose. That's your life purpose. Whatever you love is your life purpose. So these conditions don't have any bearing on this. You recognize the truth in the facts. The facts may show a certain dollar amount or a degree, but the fact is that what is within you is greater than anything in your current circumstances. You can create anything. And I believe it, I've seen it, I experience it, and my clients experience it on a daily basis. It's absolutely possible. So if you're having trouble there, sometimes people are so discouraged by life and circumstances that they're not quite sure what they would love. You can always look at your discontent. What is not working? What is not working in your life? We don't want to dwell there, but we want to at least get in touch with, if it's really hard to figure what you want, look at what is not working. Are you alone and miserable, either single or maybe in a relationship that's not working? Have you been working 50, 60 hours a week, being away from home all week, stressed and unhappy? Have you been hitting yourself against the wall because you can't quite break the barrier of the amount of money that you can make? Are you living in a home that's too small and cramped for your family? What is not quite working? And we're going to look at 4 specific areas of your life. There are a number of other areas that I take my clients through, but we're just going to focus on these for now. And allow yourself to wake up to your outrageous dreams. In the United States, we honor Martin Luther King today, and his famous speech that had a huge impact on the civil rights movement was, "I have a dream." It wasn't, "I have a plan." He began with, "I have a dream," and he went on to describe a very clear picture of that dream. "I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." So as we go through these 4 areas, I invite you to ask, what is your dream? And just like Martin Luther King did, create that vivid picture of that dream. So the first area is in health and well-being. And if you think about putting your health and well-being on a spectrum from 0 to 10, 0 would be you're on your deathbed, and 10 would actually not be asymptomatic. I would say 5 would be lack of symptoms, which means you're okay, you're not sick. To me, that's a 5. 10 would be optimal health. You have physical fitness and energy and vitality. You sleep well and eat well, and you just feel really great in your body. That will be a 10. So I want you to think about what you would love your life to look like in the area of health and well-being, and start to write that down. I'm going to give you about a minute. Write down, what would you love? Would you love vitality? Would you love more energy? Would you love more flexibility? Would you love to be able to play sports? Would you love to be able to touch your toes or even past your toes? What level of health would you like to experience? And what image or activity can you picture? Write that down. If there is a problem that you're dealing with, this work has healed cancer, kidney disease, even someone who's going deaf for 17 years. There are a lot of possibilities here, so don't cut yourself short by being that reactor that's limiting what you can experience. What would you love? Take another 30 seconds. Great. The next area is in relationships. What would you love in the area of relationships? And write that down. This can be with a significant other. This could be finding your soulmate, the love of your life. Would you love to have more fun or intimacy? Would you love better communication with your children or your parents or extended family? Would you love more friends? One of the things that I've created out of my desire to bring in an amazing network of friends is to create a vision of the type of people I wanted in my life and what I would be doing with them and how we would be supporting each other and lifting each other up. And I've been able to create that. I've met the most incredible people over the years and have gotten to know some of the people you would even know in the media. So write down, what type of relationships would you love? I'll give you a couple minutes. What type of relationships would you love to have at work? That can be a big issue. I've had clients work specifically on the people that they work with and have been able to transform their relationships. Nothing is off limits here. I had a client go through a divorce, and after our work together, she's still married and has been able to transform that relationship. I even had another client who was ready to leave her boyfriend, and now they're talking about marriage, and she's happy and truly loves him and can see herself spending the rest of her life with him. Not that I'm saying all relationships are meant to last forever. It's just that when we take responsibility for our lives, when we become the creator of our lives, there's magic we can create. Is there a past relationship that still has energy? When you think about that person, it still creates a little bit of a, just that your stomach turns. Would you like that healed? What would you love? Okay, work you love. I realize I'm going through this quickly. There's so much I want to cover, and I only have 2 hours of time to cram in as much as I can. But if you work with me 6 months, believe me, you will get so much and be able to really take the steps in a much more uh, what's the word? Powerful timing. But you can always go back to this and finish this later. So, work you love. We all have a purpose in life, a vocation, something that we're meant to be giving, our own gift to the world. So, how would you love to contribute? Go ahead and write that down. What would you love to do? What kind of projects or activities would you love to participate in? I have a client who's in law enforcement and she deals with a lot of negativity. She's a positive person, but working in law enforcement, she's just a little tired of all the drama and the negativity. And she wanted to take on more leadership roles. Her ideal was to do more teaching and speaking, and within 30 days, 30 days, when you're truly aligned, miracles happen in an instant. So within 30 days, she was approached and asked to speak to a group of law enforcement officers. And she was an expert on juvenile recidivism, and you can look that up. But it's how what keeps juveniles from coming back to the prison system. And the fee for speaking was $3,000. This is above and beyond her current income. And this was back in December, and I was on the phone with her on her way back from San Diego where she did her presentation. And we were celebrating because anytime you have some success, you have to take the time to celebrate it. And she was so excited. And I said, okay, so what's next? And she said, I would love to keep doing this. So I said, great, what feels good? One a month? And she said, yes. And then she stopped me and she said, wait, no, no. And adamantly said no. She's like, not February, because it's my niece's sweet 16 and I'm heading out of town. She said, not February. So don't do that. Don't say that because this shit works. So excuse my French, but it was just the funniest thing. And I just have to laugh because I actually told her, can you put those 3 words, write those 3 words down. So if you see those 3 words on my testimonial page, you'll have the context. But she wanted to do something different that was fulfilling, and look at the bonus she got financially. So what would you love? Is there a piece of your business that you would love to build or create or expand? So go ahead and finish that up. Time and money freedom. What amount of money would you love to earn in 2016? And be specific. You have to be specific. If you just say you want more money, Tony Robbins says, here's $1, you've got more money, great, fine, go away. The universe responds to focus. It can only respond to what you are clear about. So how many of you believe you deserve more money? To be really highly compensated for the amazing work you do? I would assume most of you would say yes right now. Money, I can tell you, in all the years I've been working with clients, money is the biggest hang-up, but it's the easiest thing to turn around. It is so easy to create money, but it's the biggest hang up. There's always a barrier that we need to break through. But once you break through it, you can continue to create all the money that you need. So be very specific. How much money would you like to create? How much money would you like to have in your bank account after all the bills are paid? And that's important because most people, the more money they make, the more they spend. I had a client who wanted $150,000, and within, I think it was 3 months, and there was a reason. That was the amount that she would that would make her feel comfortable. And within 3 months, I think it was, she got a new client, and she was able to put the entire amount of money away. It was all additional income that she didn't need to touch, and she gained that freedom that she wanted. Everyone has the ability to double, triple, even multiply their income by 10 times if you apply your talents at the highest level. So be very specific about what you would love to create in the area of money. And then time. How much time would you love, and what would you be doing with your time? And again, be specific. Would you like to travel? Where would you love to travel to? What would you be doing while you're traveling? Would you like to spend more time with the grandkids or kids or your significant other? Would you love to go to the beach more often? Go bike riding? We all know time is more valuable than anything. Do we all agree? Yeah, you know, the way you spell love is Time. The way you spell love is time. How do you show people you love them? It's by spending time with them. It's that one-on-one quality time. And unfortunately, the way the world works is money buys you time. So what would you love in the area of time? Fabulous. So why do we create a vision? We create a vision to grow. In the Talmud, which is an ancient Jewish scripture, there is a line that says, "Over every blade of grass there is an angel whispering, 'Grow, grow, grow.'" And within every one of us, there's an angel whispering, "Grow, grow, grow." We are meant to be living the highest version of ourselves. We are meant to be living a much bigger life than most of us have ever experienced. Each of us has a specific purpose to fulfill, and it's about fulfilling your potential, because at the end of the game, it's never really about the goals you get, but it's about who you become in the process. That's the real gift. That's the real gift, is who you become in the process. I was listening to a Frank Kern interview a while ago. And for those of you who don't know him, he's an incredible multi-millionaire in the internet marketing industry. He's made upwards of tens of millions of dollars in one day on a launch. And he said that the greatest excitement he experienced was not the first time he made $1 million, but it was the first time he made $300 in one day. Because that's when he realized the possibilities. Imagine how much more fulfilled you will feel knowing that you're living your life on purpose 100%, because you tapped in to this field of infinite, endless possibilities. That's where the true gift is. You want to have a vision so big that you cannot achieve it until you grow into the person who can. So the 5-step vision process, step 1 is to connect. That's where we get really quiet and connect to the deeper part of ourselves that knows what it is you're here for, that knows what you're meant to be doing, that knows how you're meant to be living. Most people have been programmed. We've been programmed by our parents, by society, by media, about what we should be, what we should do, what we should have, or what we should not do or not be or not have. So when we connect, to connect is to go to the deepest part of you that is breathing you, the creative part of you, the imagination and excitement, the fun, the endless possibilities. Step 2 is to wonder, is to truly step into that childlike possibility of what's possible for your life, of dreaming big. And step 3 is to listen. What are you inspired by? What inspires you? What's coming through you? You access a deeper part of you wanting to emerge. And then you write it down. I was working with someone who said, I've got it here in my head. I know exactly what I want. Why do I have to write it down? We have 60,000 thoughts that go through our mind every day. Not all of them are happy thoughts. Not all of them are positive thoughts. Not all of them are possibility thoughts, or thoughts filled with possibility. When you write it down, even for that few minutes, it creates a clear focus on what it is you want to create. Abraham Hicks says that 17 seconds of 100% focus on your goals or your dreams will manifest it. So writing it down brings you to that focus. And it also accesses a different part of your brain. It becomes kinesthetic. And the more layers of your being that we can access, the more alignment we are in. The more we can just make stuff happen and literally create miracles in our lives. When I work with my clients, we access every part of your being and we get full alignment. So things are just happening. So writing it down, don't skip that part. And then action, absolutely take action. Never leave the sight of setting a goal without taking one step in the direction of your goal, ever. One thing, once you decide something, take action. So we're going to connect to our greatest capacity for magnificent possibilities. So everyone, just take a deep breath. And I hope you've learned one new thing, or maybe you're reminded of something you already know and were re-inspired, maybe a little fire you needed to inspire you to do something different. So go ahead and close your eyes. We're going to do a closed eye process, and let's connect to ourselves. And just take a deep breath. And just ask yourself, what area of your life do you feel the most pain in or the most longing? And if you had a magic wand, what would that area of your life look like and feel like? And with that magic wand, there are endless possibilities. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, and I'm going to give you about a minute or two to write. James Allen says that the whole world steps aside for the man who knows where he's going. And it goes along with, if you don't know where you're going, you'll just end up anywhere. So the whole world steps aside for the man or woman who knows where he's going. So it's getting clear on what you would love. So, what I'd like you to add underneath that is what are three things that will have occurred in 2016 so that you can name this year a success? Be very specific. What are three things that you can see, hear, know, or that will have occurred so that you can name this year a success? It can be a certain dollar amount in your bank account. It can be a certain amount on your paycheck. It could be a great conversation with an estranged family member in your life. It could be travel, a trip to a specific place. It could be a feeling that you have. So, what are three things that will have occurred so you can look at that list at the end of the year and say, yes, I created that. And you can celebrate your success. So, go ahead and write that down. And then, what do I want to release or let go of that will help me experience more joy in 2016? And one of the truths that is difficult for most people is when you create an extraordinary life, a lot of things can't come with you. A lot of things that can't come with you. Certain beliefs can't come with you. Certain people in your life can't come with you. There are certain habits or attitudes that can't come with you. So, what would you love to release or let go of in order to create this exceptional life, in order to make room for your joy? And then, what is the one thing that I'm doing to invest in my personal growth this year? Your income, your relationship, your physical health and wellness will only grow to the extent that you will. If you want more money, you have to grow into the person that can receive more money. If you want better health, you have to grow into that person because who you are now, what you've done, has created your results now. And in order to create different results, we have to grow into that person. So, what are you doing to invest in your personal growth, to grow into the person that you want to be, that you are stepping into? Is it a class you're taking? Is it a mentor you're working with? Is it a mastermind group? Fabulous. Thank you. I want to share with you the three invisible universal laws that will help you turn your vision into your reality. These are invisible universal laws that will help you turn what your dream is, what you're inspired by, what's coming through you, your purpose in life, how to turn that into reality. And these are powerful laws that will really get you moving in the right direction. Like I said, there are 12 universal laws and many sub laws, but these three will definitely get you started on a strong foothold. So the first one is the law of specificity. We talked a little bit about the clarity. Clarity creates focus. 95% of success is due to clarity. 95% of failure is due to lack of clarity. We need to be specific about what we want to create. Am I looking at my checkbook and seeing a certain dollar amount? Do I see myself writing a check for the car I want? What size dress am I wearing? What do I look like as I'm wearing that dress? What do I say to myself as I look in the mirror? You want to sensorize it. What does it taste like? There's a powerful process that I lead my clients through where we sensorize our vision, creating a vortex that brings in our manifestations extremely quickly. So you want to literally step into it and become it. And when you are very specific and you become it, you become a vibrational match to it. So the law of vibration says you will only attract things that are in harmony with where you are vibrating at, with your vibration at the moment. You have to become financially free before you can get the money. I hope you hear that. Truly hear that. You have to be financially wealthy, financially free before the money will come in. Jim Rohn says that if you're expecting $1 million, you better become a millionaire real quick because as soon as that cash comes in, it will leave your hands just as quickly. James Malinchek, and I know a few people on this webinar know him. He was on the show Secret Millionaire several years ago. And what they do, if you haven't seen the show, is they take these millionaires and they basically dump them in the hood in very impoverished neighborhoods. And they're supposed to spend a week living there in extremely poor conditions. And he's supposed to meet the neighbors, get to know the people living in that area. And the beautiful thing is, at the end of this week, he's supposed to write out checks totaling $100,000 to people that he finds are worthy, or people that have inspired him, or people that he just wants to help. So he has to make this decision over the course of the week, getting to know people in his neighborhood. And at the end of the week, he makes his choice and writes the checks, and he spends his $100,000. And this was all filmed. And of course, everyone was extremely grateful. They were excited. There were tears. They felt their life had changed. Their prayers were answered. You know, he really saved them from desperate situations. And what he shared and what they didn't film is he actually went back. He was like 2 months later. He went back on his own. And he wanted to check on everybody to see how they're doing, because, you know, you write the check and, you know, they all say you changed their life and that the prayers were answered, but he wanted to, you know, see how they were doing. So, and there were no cameras when he came back. And what he realized is, and what he saw after 60 days was that everybody he gave the money to went right back to their current situation. Everything was right back to where they were within 60 days. And he was able to recover that $100,000 within a week. He went right back to where he was as well. They both went back to their vibration. So the vibration is extremely important. Where are you vibrating at? That's what you're allowing to come in. And the law of proximity, you want to surround yourself with people who are where you want to be. This is your network, your friends, your coaches, your mentors, your masterminds. How many of you have read Think and Grow Rich? Napoleon Hill spent a lot of time talking about this. He followed a number of very successful people, very successful millionaires, and discovered that pattern that is repeatable of how these people became successful. And he broke the code and shares the code in his book, very detailed in his book, and he talks about the power of your network. Jim Rohn says you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You will be earning the same amount of money as the 5 people you spend the most time with. Your health level will be at that same level. If you want to get healthy and you're surrounded by people who are unhealthy, it's going to be a big challenge. And you will earn the same amount of money as the people that you spend time with. And it's not because the money is contagious, but it's the thinking that creates the money that's contagious. Tony Robbins was on The View, and he was with Whoopi Goldberg and Barbara Walters and the other women, and they were doing a piece on health. Tony was talking about the alkaline diet and movement and breathing. And in the green room, Whoopi and the other ladies said to him, you know, we're going to do this. We're going to work out every morning. We're going to eat healthy. We're going to juice. And he said, no, you won't. He says, you 5, and he says respectfully, are overweight and unhealthy, and you cannot support each other in this, because one day, one person's not going to feel like working out, and you're going to go feel like a caramel macchiato or whatever at Starbucks, and someone's going to say, you know, instead of that juice, let's go to Starbucks and get the 500-calorie drink. And, you know, let's just go out to dinner instead of taking that walk. And so all of a sudden, you'll just go back to your comfort level. So does that make sense? It's the thinking that creates the level of health that's contagious. You want to surround yourself with people who are where you want to be, and make a conscious effort to do that. So the main reasons New Year's resolutions fail, number 1 is insufficient desire. The one question you can ask yourself that will transform your life is, am I interested? Or am I committed? Because what happens when you're interested in something? You do a little bit when you feel like doing it. When it gets uncomfortable, you stop, you quit. So you're dabbling. When you're interested, you're dabbling. You're checking it out. There's no follow through. And as soon as you get uncomfortable, you quit. You stop doing what you need to do to accomplish that goal. But when you're committed, What does a commitment do? What are you willing to do? And you're probably saying you're willing to do anything and everything to make that happen. Are you willing to get uncomfortable? Yes. Are you willing to go through your fears? Absolutely. Because everything you want is on the other side of fear. Everything you want is past your comfort zone. So it's being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's what commitment means. It's that no matter what, you're committed to making something happen. I could have been very uncomfortable this morning when, I was seeing the glitches in my computer and it crashing, but I was comfortable with that because I knew there was something beyond that. So I was comfortable with being uncomfortable, and I knew this webinar is going to happen. Whatever it takes, it will happen, and it's happening. Yay! So fear doesn't mean you can't. It just means you haven't. Because no matter how evolved somebody is, we're still going to have ups and downs. Everybody has ups and downs, even the most evolved person on the planet. For them, there's always the next level of growth. No matter how successful somebody seems or how to put together or how spiritual someone is, there's always the next level of growth for them. And how do you get to that next level? You're going to have to push through some stuff. And it's making that decision to burn the ships, that we're in it for the long haul. And when a decision is made, the universe conspires to make it happen. That's when miracles start happening. Coincidences, people say that people say something was a coincidence when they mean an unexpected accident. But that's not how the universe works. Co means together and inside means to collide. It's not an accident. Coincidence is when an idea and energy come together to create something. When we are tapped in, this universe is working so powerfully in our favor to support us. The next reason New Year's resolutions fail is insufficient believing power. It's when the fear comes up and he says, I've never really done that before. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if I'm worthy. I don't believe I can. We rationalize why we shouldn't dream that big. Who am I? And think about the word rational lies. Rational lies. That's when we start to make excuses for why things can't happen. It's because of the economy or my upbringing, or it's my spouse or any circumstances around us. We want to be independent of that, to be the creator of our life, not to be at the effect of the circumstances around us. When I was in 7th grade in psychology class, one of our exercises was to write down the car that you wanted. And I used to watch Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. I know, corny, but I know some of you were also guilty of that. So, but it was fun. There was beautiful stuff, and I remember seeing Lamborghinis. The doors coming up. It was gorgeous, and there was always a beautiful woman standing next to it. I wanted to be her. But in the Lamborghini, and I think in a lot of fast cars, there's something called the governor. Now, the Lamborghini is capable of driving up to 217 miles per hour, but the governor is an electronic device that's in the car that doesn't allow you to go past a certain limit. I think it's around 120 miles an hour. The governor comes on and prevents the car from going top speed. So no matter how much you accelerate it, it will not allow that to move past 120. And we all have a governor. That's our comfort zone. It's our story of what we're capable of what we've been able to do in the past, what my friends have been able to do, what my family has been able to do. It's the fear of the new, the unknown, dangerous terrain, and the comfort of the old. So we want to take that governor off. We all have the power to take that governor off. And it's by believing and deciding and creating that commitment to move forward. We can take that governor off and let go of our story, let go of our limiting beliefs. And insufficient support. I used to own a restaurant that I eventually had to close. And this was a big lesson for me. I created the restaurant using the exact same principles that I teach. I call it my experiment in manifesting. Money was flowing in. I had the perfect staff and contractors that were coming into my life. The permits were approved in record time. Everything just flowed so smoothly. I created a beautiful, successful restaurant from nothing. Really, no experience, no money, and no support. And about 4 to 5 months before opening up the restaurant, I started to let go of my clients because I wanted to focus on the business. I stopped teaching. I was funneling all my money into the business, so I let go of my own coaches and the mentors and mastermind groups that I was part of. And so I really let go of all of my support and my support system and dove headfirst into the restaurant 100%. And I lost, like I said, my support. And I thought that was okay because I didn't really understand the power of this support. And I actually kind of discounted it, thinking that I really didn't need it. I knew the steps. I knew, A to Z, and I can do it on my own. And I remember about 20 years ago, I'm at this program, and it was kind of a high level spiritual energy program. And I had been in it 3 years. And I was talking to people next to me, asking, how long have you been in? And they're like 17 years. And, I'd ask somebody else, how long have you been in? Oh, 15 years. Another person, 20 years. And all I thought was, wow, these people are slow learners. I mean, that was my judgment. I thought, why are you still here? Didn't you get it yet? That's what I thought. I thought you get it and you move on. And I didn't understand the value of the support, of being in a structured support system to keep you moving forward, to remind you to stay on track, to keep you from sliding back, to prevent the 2 steps forward, 3 steps back that most people in personal development experience. And that's really where I failed. I just learned about Anthony Hopkins, and would you all agree he's very talented? 40 years of success. He has 7 coaches. After 40 years of success, he still has 7 coaches because there's always the next level, and he wants to make sure he doesn't slide back. So this was a big lesson for me. John Wood, in legendary UCLA coach, says, "It's what you learn after you know it all that counts." Powerful. The Buddhists call it the empty mind. So constantly be a new learner, constantly be open, because even if you are hearing or reading or seeing the same thing you already saw or read or know, you're not the same person. And you may just hear exactly what you need at that time to catapult your life forward. And having a structured support system around you provides you with eyes and a perspective that you may be unable to see in your life. It's hard to see yourself when you're the one in the frame. So before we move on to the 3 things that you can do to move from wishing for your dream to living your dream, I would love to invite you to spend some time with me so that you can get my eyes on your dream. There are specific ways they should be written that we don't have time to cover here tonight, but I would love to see where you are at and what you would love to create and how I can support you. And if you are truly ready to make big things happen this year, we may be able to work together. I have a 6-month program beginning shortly. I do take one-on-one clients. I do have a waiting list right now. I will hopefully have some spots open soon. But I have a 6-month program beginning shortly. And if you feel any of what we talked about was valuable and you want to dive deeper, and just wait until you experience the transformational experiences you'll be getting over the next 6 months. This is nothing compared to what we can really make happen together over a period of time. So this is for you if you are tired of struggling, if you have a burning desire or a big goal you would love to accomplish. This is for you if you are ready to have the life you know you deserve. More time, more money, an extraordinary love relationship, optimal health. And this is for you if you're committed. If you're committed, I can help you. If you're interested, no one can. And unfortunately, that's the truth. I've set aside 5 times this week for discovery sessions, and they are on a first come, first served basis. There is a short application process that I ask you to fill out because I only work with people who are truly committed to living their best life. If you are committed and ready to have the best year of your life, click the link below, send us your name and email, and we'll save a spot for you this week for a discovery session. I normally charge $500, but because you were on this call, I will waive the fee. So 3 things you can do to move from wishing for your dream, not about your dream, but for your dream, to living your dream. Fuel your desire. You fuel your desire by sensorizing it. You want to be it. It goes back to the idea that you can't get $1 million until you become a millionaire. So step into it fully. Increase your believing. You're constantly making progress. Celebrate your progress. Celebrate everything that comes into your life. I celebrate when I find a nickel, a penny, anything on the ground, because to me, that's a sign of wealth. I just attracted money, and I can't tell you how many things have just come to me. Recently, there was one day where it was just nonstop. I got free parking. It was supposed to be $33. Somebody paid for my dinner. That was probably another $40. And then there was a book that I was going to buy, and they're like, no, you don't have to pay. And these were different people in different situations. And I thought, wow, 3 things that kind of just came to me. And I'm so wealthy. I'm so abundant. But there's still a part of me that I'm like, okay, I'm good. That's enough. I'm happy. It's like, all right, enough. But I know better than to say that. It was such a fun experience to go through and just receive gift after gift after gift. And there were a couple of other things that happened that day. So we can attract so much more than what we allow ourselves to do. So fully step into that believing and get excited about the small successes. Surround yourself with support. In order to bridge the gap between your vision and your goals and your current results, you need to surround yourself with people that have been there, that know the steps to get there, that know the easy way to get there, that can remind you when you're off track. I'm not a golfer, but I've been invited to so many charity golf events that I thought it'd be nice to learn. And I've been to the driving range with a few people who are good golfers, and they tried to show me how to golf, and we hit some balls, and it was really frustrating because the balls were going, 10 feet up and flopping down, or they would graze the green, landing 10 feet away, or they would just, kind of pop up and luckily they never hit somebody close to me. But I finally signed up for a lesson with an amazing PGA instructor. She was an amazing coach, and she literally tweaked my positioning by, I would say, less than 2 millimeters. And all of a sudden, consistently, I was hitting the ball 200 yards out with a beautiful arch. I was so excited. Little hinges open big doors. It's that little adjustment. She knew where to make that little adjustment. And, she left me alone to practice, and I was doing great. But after a while, I was right back to hitting them all over the place again. So she adjusted my swing again, and this time I was able to remember the new position just a little longer. See, there is a gravitational pull back to what we know. It's inevitable. But the support system you have will be able to quickly correct your movement and help you get back on track. That's all we need. It's a little direction helping us figure out the right thing to do at the right time, at the right place, in the right order. So never stop learning. Never stop picking up information. Never stop getting coached. Never stop getting mentored. Never stop surrounding yourself with people who can put their eyes and their vibration on your dream. Kevin Eastman is a coach with the Clippers, was talking about Kobe Bryant and how Kobe Bryant is always learning. And he says, so you're always upping your game and learning something. And Kobe's like, yeah, I was watching a high school game the other night and I saw this move. And he's like, Kobe, you're watching a high school game? And he says, yeah, there was this, kid playing basketball. And there was this really, really great move that this kid made. And so during the game, he literally stood up and moved all his furniture and kept practicing this move that he saw a high school kid perform. And he kept practicing, and he asked Kobe, well, how long do you practice for? And he says, until. And he's like, until what? And he says, until. He says, well, until what? Once you master it? And Kobe's like, no, I may master it, but until. There's never an end to his learning. That's what separates the masters from the amateurs. That's what separates the successful people from those that dabble, the ones who are committed from those who are interested. So, what if all your dreams can come true? Everything is possible, but it's not going to happen with the same thinking that produces your current results. We have to be open to new ideas, new experiences, getting beyond the comfort zone. So, one more thing before you leave today, what I'd like to ask you to do now is to think about what is one thing. We talked about what you would like to create, your longing or discontent. What is one thing that, actually, I would love for you to think of 3 things that you can do today to move you in the direction of your dream. So choose one dream, one of the dreams that you just wrote down, and write down 3 things you can do today to move you in that direction. If you didn't think it was impossible, what would you do today to move you in the direction of your dream? And out of those 3 things, I invite you to choose one that you will do today before you go to bed tonight. Never leave the sight of setting a goal without making forward movement in that direction. What can you do now? I realize it's late, but I'm talking to the 3%ers here. And if you're still on this webinar, I know that's you. So what will you do? And do it. It may mean make a phone call. It may mean make a decision. It may mean an email or putting something on your calendar or an internet search. I want you to do that tonight. And please email me or post on Facebook your dream and the action you took. I would love to hear your progress. Wayne Gretzky says, you miss 100% of the shots you don't make. We want to take action. We want to move forward constantly. If you didn't think it was impossible, what would you do? And do it every day. It's the difference between committed and interested. Interested, again, is you're checking it out. You wait until you know there's a guarantee of success. You wait to see how others are doing first. Committed means you're moving forward, rain or shine. So we talked about the 5-step vision process of connecting with a deeper part of you that knows what you're here on this planet in this lifetime to accomplish. We wondered, we allowed that imagination part of us to dream, just like Martin Luther King said in his famous speech. It always starts with a dream and a clear picture of that dream. Henry Ford commissioned engineers to build the first combustible engine. And they said it's impossible. And he said, I know it's possible because I can see it in my imagination. And if you can't do it, then I'll find somebody who will. JFK said, I want to send a man to the moon within the next decade and bring him back because, of course, bringing him back would be kind of important. And he asked Werner von Braun, a NASA scientist, what would it take? And his reply was 5 words, the will to do it. And we sent a man to the moon and brought him back short of the end of the decade. And listening, we took some quiet time to listen. We're so busy running around in our lives, we don't give ourselves that time to just really connect. So we listened, and then writing it down is very important, and taking action every single day. So thank you so much. It's been a fabulous evening. Thank you all so much for joining me. Please click on the link below if you're interested in scheduling a complimentary discovery session with me, and keep in touch. You can reach me via email or send me a message on Facebook. Share with me how you're doing, post your dreams and goals. Let me know what you've learned or what you've received from this webinar. Let me know if there's anything else you'd love to have on future webinars or links I send. I love teaching. I can go on forever. I do have to try to catch myself and not talk too fast and not try to do so much, but I would love to teach. So tell me what you're interested in learning, and I can share that with you. Have a fabulous, beautiful evening. Please send any questions or comments to me. And here's to 2016, a fabulous year. Good night, everybody.